Hello and welcome back to On the Steps. I'm Max Davis-Housefield.
I'm Verna Chen.
And I'm Madeline.
Coming up, students protest following the detainment of a UCLA student on the U.S.-Mexico border.
Leaders gather for the annual Luskin Summit.
Students participate in the UCLA Gaming and E-sports Expo.
And gymnastics finishes as runner-up in the national championships. A UCLA international graduate student was detained last Thursday by Customs and Border Patrol after attempting to enter the country from Mexico.
At least 19 UCLA students have had their visas revoked by the Trump administration in recent weeks, as have nearly 1,500 students nationwide.
The UCLA community gathered in front of Murphy Hall on Thursday evening, calling for the university to fight back.
Daily Bruin reporters Nora Gallagher and Hannah Morgan were on the ground and have the story.
We need to protect our students. It's very simple as that. We have an administration who's not obeying the law. It's acting in a rogue manner. And we have to stick together to protect our students. We can't allow our students to be imprisoned unjustly.
Last Thursday, an international UCLA graduate student was detained at the U.S.-Mexico border by the United States Customs and Border Protection. Daily Bruin attended the rally hosted by students to protest the UCLA administration's inaction regarding the event.
One of our graduate students, as you know, was detained by ICE, essentially imprisoned for no reason other than whatever the hell they think is going on. It's many of our students, like I think more than 20 here at UCLA and almost 100 in the UCLA system as a whole, have had their visas revoked in a totally arbitrary and capricious manner.
The rally featured student speakers condemning UCLA's administration.
Despite paying lip service to how their immigrant and international community members are not alone, they have let ICE on campus, refused to notify students of their presence, and collaborated with governmental agencies to share information.
We spoke to people attending the rally to learn more about the message they wanted to send.
We need to support the students. These institutions are areas of learning and areas where we need to have conversations about difficult topics. And when those rights are infringed upon, when people are abducted, that can't happen. So we all of us need to show up for that.
Coming here, I was definitely very excited, and I'm finding a lot more community. Meeting people like this and coming to events like this, especially being a first year, I wanted to see what it was all about. But it's definitely impacted my view on the administration and the steps that they're taking to protect their students. And I hope that they will hear our voices and take action, especially knowing that deportation and those people's livelihoods being threatened and students' livelihood being threatened is something that they should take interest in. And I've also just been kind of disappointed with the administration and how they've reacted, especially to SJP and community members calling for change and calling them to divest from Israel and their government and their actions. So I've been disappointed with the administration, but I really hope that people continue to show up and that they hear people's voices and concerns.
I'm Nora Gallagher, and this is the Daily Bruin.
UCLA's annual Luskin Summit was held last Wednesday.
The event focused on rebuilding and recovery in the wake of January's fires.
Policymakers and leaders heard about the recovery process and much more from UCLA experts and government officials.
Daily Bruin's Katie Chavez has the story.
On April 16th, policymakers, nonprofit leaders, and UCLA students gathered for the 7th annual UCLA Luskin Summit. Leonard Unger, member of UCLA Luskin Board of Advisors, outlined its purpose.
The purpose is to create awareness of the issues that we're confronting, local issues and broader issues.
Those local issues include rebuilding Los Angeles after the fires like the one in Palisades, which burned over 23,000 acres this past January.
These catastrophic events have left physical and psychological scars and that will last for at least a generation or two.
Growing up in California, I think I've always been conscious of the environment around me, faced a couple things like mudslides and fires. So being in Luskin and public affairs, stuff like that, I think I got really interested in disaster recovery management. So I'm excited to see what professionals have to say about that and how we're going to move forward in LA.
The event began with opening speeches from figures like former LA County Board of Supervisors member Zev Yaroslavsky and Chancellor Julio Frank, followed by a Q&A session with Mayor Karen Bass, LA County Board of Supervisors member Lindsay P. Horvath, State Senator Ben Allen, and Altadena Recovery Director Anish Saraya.
I think of the teenagers who were in high school who were the same group of teenagers that went through COVID. I met with a group of them both from the Palisades and also from Altadena. So we have to keep all of that in mind. It's not just about rebuilding structures. It's about rebuilding, restoring, and reestablishing lives and relationships.
This year, especially with the theme of equitable fire recovery, I was really interested to hear from the expert panelists like Mayor Bass and our county supervisor, and just really interested in the idea of rebuilding versus reimagining and what it means to equitably recover from a disaster like that.
Opening talks were followed by 2 rounds of breakout sessions with topics ranging from rebuilding strategies to research on impacted communities like Latino workers.
So it's really amazing things to really see and how they run these amazing conferences and different groups that Luskin has that really do research that really show the impact of the fires and how to possibly rebuild.
Although designed for community and nonprofit leaders, many UCLA students took advantage of their reduced ticket rate.
I had heard about the event through the Luskin newsletter, and then I asked Jacob about it, and he really suggested going, and I think the theme was also what really drew me to this event because it's such an important part of our community.
I'm just excited to see so many people here, other fellow students and professionals, some master's students, and yeah, just mingle, talk, and see what everyone has to say.
All speeches and breakout sessions can be found on the Luskin School's website. This has been Katie Chavez for the Daily Bruin.
Last weekend, UCLA Recreation hosted a 2-day event to bring the gaming community together.
The event featured opportunities to listen to live panels, play games, shop, and more.
Daily Bruin reporters Victor A.A., Luca Falvo, and I attended the event and wanted to show you the story. Last weekend, UCLA Recreation hosted its premier annual Gaming and E-sports Expo, Geeks, at Tom Bradley International Hall. It started with the closing ceremony of Fiat Ludum, the annual game design competition that the organizers hosted the previous weekend. Students were welcome to compete in games such as Super Smash Bros., Marvel Rivals, and Mario Kart, all streamed on Twitch by the club Bruin Broadcasting. They also had the chance to play these casually, along with other games such as Valorant, League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics, Roblox, and various tabletop games. Attendees also had the chance to hear from a series of industry panels, as well as the streamer Ivani, who talked about her experience in content creation.
I don't know, I just love chatting with students and what questions they might have because they're about to head off to a very pivotal part of their life.
Some other activities included trivia contests, one of which was hosted by the Japanese Animation Club and the Artist Alley, where students could buy student art. There were also some representatives from the Pokemon Club and other clubs such as Bruin Gaming, Casa Lay, and Gamers Without Labels, who hosted tables and other activities at the event.
Our table is basically just to show different parts of cosplaying. So I have like a wig, cosplay costumes, and props. So it's really meant as sort of like a marketing tactic to get people to walk over and see what's going on. But it's also to get people interested in what cosplaying is and recognize that cosplaying isn't something that has to be super difficult or like something that's super, like, what's the word? Like something that only certain people can do. It's for everyone.
So this is the Gamers Without Labels, where UCLA's Marginalized Genders in Gaming Club. Essentially, we're a safe space for marginalized genders like women, non-binary, transgender folk, but we're welcome to like everyone. So it's a very safe space and a very casual gaming community.
Attendees and organizers spoke to us about the event and about gaming in general.
It's sometimes like hard to find people that have the same interests, but like when you have a place to find those people, it's nice.
I want people to walk away knowing UCLA has a strong esports and gaming scene. You know, the school is here to support you if you're interested in that. There's a lot of people who are also interested in the same thing as you are, so walk out of it knowing that, like, you know, you're not alone.
It all starts with an idea. So I think this event's been in my head for the last 4 years that I've been here. And when I was a student here as well, I would organize an event like this, but on a smaller scale. And so this is me kind of like trying to see what I can do and what me and my team can do with some resources from UCLA Recreation. Thanks to our wonderful sponsors, ASUS Republica Gamers, really pushing the envelope for what we can do, get more students out, get more students interested in what we're doing, and ultimately kind of create this ultimate gaming event at UCLA.
Well, it's our favorite time of the week.
It is time for sports.
Number 5 seed UCLA Gymnastics made it all the way to the national championships this season, finishing in second place behind number 2 seed Oklahoma.
The Daily Bruin's assistant sports editor Aaron Doyle was on the ground in Fort Worth, Texas last weekend covering the championship and joins us now to talk about all of this and more. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. So what was the mood like on the ground in Texas last weekend?
Yeah. So UCLA was the national runner-ups behind Oklahoma, who won their 3rd title in 4 years. It's their 7th overall, which ties UCLA's count. They've each won 7 titles. UCLA started the day on floor, which is their number 1 event. They're ranked number 1 in the country on floor. Jordan Childs anchored the rotation with a 9.975, which means she got a perfect 10 from 4 of the 6 judges, and that put UCLA in first place after the first rotation. After the 3rd rotation, UCLA was in 2nd, and after some wobbles on beam and Oklahoma just nailed it on bars, Oklahoma won the title. It was their day. The stronger event, 4-event performance, but UCLA still had a lot to look forward to after the meet. Even though UCLA placed number 2 overall, they started the year ranked number 12, and I talked with Coach Janelle McDonald after the meet, and she said if I would have told her, they would have placed number 2 after the first week of the season, she would have been ecstatic. So I think it was a really great meet and great season for UCLA.
That sounds awesome. So how did the semifinals go? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so in the semifinals, UCLA actually posted the 2nd highest score from any team heading into the semifinals. In UCLA semifinal, they were against number 1 seed LSU, number 4 seed Utah, number 8 seed Michigan State, and Utah and UCLA advanced. UCLA upset number 1 seed LSU. It wasn't a disaster for any of the 4 teams, but ultimately UCLA and Utah had the stronger day. UCLA had a shaky rotation on vault after a freshman got injured on her competition vault. The sophomore Caitlin Rosen really stepped in on bars, beam, and floor for UCLA to send UCLA to the Final Four.
Okay, so what's next for the team?
Yeah, so UCLA is graduating a pretty strong class with graduate students Shay Campbell, Brooklyn Moores, and senior Emma Malabio graduating the team after this season. But they have a really strong incoming class with Tiana Sumana-Sakara and Nola Matthews coming into the team next year. Tiana was an alternate for Team USA at the 2024 Olympics, and Nola Matthews has really incredible difficulty across all 4 events, especially on bars. In 2023 and 2024, Nola Matthews was the USA Gymnastics Sports Person of the Year, so she has a really great attitude that will help any team, and it's a really good sign for what's to come for UCLA next year.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Aaron. That was great.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Well, that's our show for today.
Thank you so much for watching.
And we'll see you next week.